Hi, I'm Chelsea from thecraftyourlife.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make my crochet bunny that I used on my handmade Easter cards this year. The pattern is found on my blog under the post called Missing My Peeps. So if you need to get to the pattern, just head to thecraftyourlife.com and search for the post Missing My Peeps. It's actually my most current post as of today. Okay, so here are a few finished bunnies. So that's what they look like. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm actually using worsted weight yarn. This happens to be Red Heart Super Saver in the color Lilac, but of course you can use whatever color or brand yarn you want in a worsted weight. I'm also using a size 4.0 millimeter crochet hook. And again, you can alter this. You can use slightly bigger or larger hooks to get a slightly bigger or larger bunny. Okay, start with my slip knot, and now looking at the pattern, row 1 says chain 4, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then in each remaining chain across. So that's just 3 single crochets. So here's 1, 2, 3, and then starting with row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to put 2 single crochet in the first stitch. So here's 1, 2, and then we're going to do single crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So we increase by 2 stitches on that row. So then starting with row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to put, same way in this row, we're going to increase by 2 stitches. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch. 1, 2, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, just 1 single crochet in each of those. And then 2 single crochet stitches in the last stitch of that row. So that's what you should have so far. It's the end of row 3, so you should have 7 single crochet stitches in that row. And then to start row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn. And then we're just going to single crochet in each stitch across, so it should be 7. 1, and then we're going to start row 5, so we're going to chain 1 and turn. And then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch. 1, 2. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to put 2 in the last stitch. So 2, 1, 2. So now at the end of row 5, we should have 9 single crochets across. And then we're going to chain 1 and turn to start row 6, which is just putting a single crochet in each of those stitches. So 1, and then row 7 is the same thing. We're just going to single crochet across the row again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then chain 1 and turn to start row 8. Trying to get a little slack on my yarn. So row 8, this is where we start to decrease. So we're going to single crochet 2 together, or do a single crochet decrease. So I insert my hook under the first stitch and pull a loop through, and then I insert my hook under the next stitch and pull a loop through, and then I go ahead and yarn over and put all 3 of those to do the single crochet decrease, which is in the pattern it's single crochet 2 together. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches, so just 1 single crochet stitch in each of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to again do another single crochet decrease, or single crochet 2 together. So insert your hook under the next stitch and pull a loop through, and then insert your hook again under that last stitch and pull a loop through. So you should have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 3, and then that completes row 8. So then we're going to chain 1 and turn to start row 9, and we're just going to single crochet across all those stitches. So we should have 7 to do. So 1, and then chain 1 and turn to start row 10, which is another decrease row. So we're going to do a single crochet decrease at the beginning. So insert your hook under the first stitch and pull a loop through, insert under the next stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then another decrease at the end of that row. So insert into the next stitch, and then insert into the last stitch and pull through 3 loops, pull through all 3, and then that completes row 10. So you now should have 5 single crochet stitches in that row. And then row 11 is simply just putting a single crochet in each of those 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then chain 1 and turn to start row 12. And then we're going to actually start increasing again for row 12 to start the head. So we're going to put 2 single crochet stitches in the first stitch. So there's 2, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to put 2 single crochet stitches in the last stitch of that row. 1, 2. So now at the end of row 12 you should have 7 single crochets, and we're going to chain 1 and turn to start row 13. And then we're going to single crochet in each stitch across for that row, so just 7. And then we're going to chain 1 and turn to start row 14. Again, that's another increase row, so we're going to put 2 single crochet stitches in that first stitch. There's 2, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to put 2 single crochet stitches in the last stitch of that row. 1, 2. And so now we should have 9 single crochet stitches at the end of row 14. And so now chain 1 and turn to start row 15. And we're just going to single crochet in each of those 9 across. So 1, and then chain 1 and turn to start row 16, which is we're going to decrease or single crochet 2 together with the first 2. So insert your hook under the first stitch and pull a loop through, and then insert your hook under the next stitch and pull a loop through. So you should have 3 loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 to do that decrease. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So just put 1 single crochet in the next 2. So 1 and then 1 in this next one. And then we're actually going to put 2 single crochet stitches in that next stitch, which is like the middle stitch. So we're going to do 1, 2, both in that stitch. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 2. So just 1 single crochet in the next 2. So there's the first one, here's the second one. And so now you should have 2 stitches left in that row. And you're actually going to do a decrease with those. So single crochet both of them together. So insert your hook under that next one and pull through, and then insert your hook under the last one and pull a loop through. So you have 3 loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. So now you should have 8 single crochet stitches at the end of that row. Okay, so now we're going to start row 17, and row 17 is actually where the first ear starts. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. So row 17, the first step is to do a single crochet decrease. So you're just going to single crochet these first 2 together. So insert your hook under the first hook and pull a loop through, and then insert under the second hook and pull a loop through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. And there's your decrease. And then you're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So just single crochet in that stitch, and then a single crochet in the next stitch. And that's all the further over you're going to go for that row. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn, because this is his ear. And then you're going to single crochet in each of these 3 stitches across that we just did. So 1, 2, 3. And so it should look like this so far. And then we're going to chain 1 and turn to start row 19. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch. So 1, 2. And then we're going to single crochet the last 2 together, or do a single crochet decrease there. I'm just going to insert and pull through, insert and pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then chain 1 and turn to start row 20. And then now I'm going to do a decrease at the beginning of row 20. Insert and pull through, insert and pull through. And then in that last stitch, I'm going to put 2 single crochet stitches. 1, 2. Because this is starting to shape the ear by increasing on this side and decreasing on this side. It kind of shapes the ear so it goes outwards. So then chain 1 and turn to go to row 21. So we're going to put 2 single crochet in that first stitch of row 21. And then we're going to single crochet these last 2 together, or decrease. And then chain 1 and turn. And then row 22, we're going to decrease at the beginning, or single crochet 2 together, the first 2. And then put 2 single crochet stitches in that last stitch. And then chain 1 and turn to start row 23. So we're going to put 2 in the first stitch. And then we're going to single crochet the last 2 together, decrease. And then that actually completes the first ear, so it should kind of look like that when you're done. And then we're going to go ahead and fasten that off, and then we'll start the second ear. So let me go ahead and fasten that off real quick. And I gotta cut my yarn. Okay, and if you want, you can go ahead and weave in that tail now. I'm just gonna let mine loose for now because I'm pretty bad. I save all that for the end, even though I probably shouldn't. But then we'll get started with the second ear. Okay, so to start ear 2, the second ear, we need to flip this over. So the first ear is on our left side, and then we're actually going to attach our yarn to this, which is the first stitch of row 16 in the pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my yarn there. And then I always like to make sure I'm catching that tail in the back so I don't have to worry about it pulling out. So I kind of do my stitch over that tail. And then chain 1 to start the second ear. And then what we're actually going to do is we're just going to repeat rows 17 to 23 because it's going to be the same pattern as for the other ear. So the first thing we're going to do is row 17, we're going to single crochet 2 together or single crochet decrease. So insert under that first stitch and pull through, and then insert under the next stitch. And as you can see, I'm carrying my tail where I attach my yarn behind these stitches, so that way it keeps it in place and it doesn't pull out. So anyway, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops to complete that initial decrease for row 17. And then we're going to place a single crochet stitch in each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, and then 2. So it kind of touches that first ear right there. And then I'm going to chain 1 and turn to start row 18, and we're just going to single crochet in each of those 3 stitches across. So here's 1, 2, 3, and we're literally just doing the same thing we did for the first ear. So then I'm going to chain 1 and turn to start row 19, and we're going to put 2 single crochet in the first stitch for an increase there. So 1, 2, and then we're going to decrease or single crochet these last 2 together. So insert, pull through, insert, pull through, and then chain 1 and turn to start row 20. So then we're going to do another decrease at the beginning of row 20. And remember, this creates that shape of the ear, so it starts to tilt outwards. So then we're going to increase in that last stitch by putting 2 single crochet in the last one. So 1, 2, and then chain 1 and turn to start row 22. Or I'm sorry, 21. We're going to put 2 single crochets in that first one. 1, 2, and then decrease with the last 2. Insert, pull through, insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then row 22, we're going to do a decrease again. So insert, pull through, insert, pull through, and then pull through all 3. And then an increase in that last stitch, so put 2 single crochet in that last stitch. 1, 2, and then chain 1 and turn. And then the last row of the ear is to place 2 single crochet in the first stitch. 1, 2, and then decrease or single crochet the last 2 together and pull through all 3. And so now what we have to do is don't fasten off yet, because we're going to actually go around. We're going to single crochet around the entire bunny to create that finished look. so we keep our yarn on the hook. If you want, you can go ahead and, if these bother you, these tails here, you can weave them in the back. I'm bad with that. I just wait till the end to do all that, even though you're not supposed to. So I'm just going to go ahead and start going around my bunny now. So I'm just going to kind of like try to go around as evenly as I can with single crochet stitches around the edge. So I'll start about here and just single crochet, and I'll keep going down the ear, single crochet, and go down, catch it about there. It's starting to look like that. I'm going to go in here. And then I actually did not put a slip stitch in the middle of these two ears. I just did a single crochet here. So I'm going to go right in the middle here and place a single crochet, if I can, before going up to the next ear. In certain spots I will be putting slip stitches, like where the ear on the outside meets the head, and then where the neck and the body meet. That's where I'll put slip stitches, but I actually did not put a slip stitch in between the two ears. I just did a single crochet there to kind of try to connect them a little better. And then I'll start going up the next ear with single crochets as evenly as I can, but I'll try to hurry up just for the sake of the video. And then again, some of you might be bothered by that tail, so you could have already secured that in the back. But I'm just going to go around it, and I'm going to place my single crochets in each of those 3 stitches at the top of the ear. 1, 2. So in case you need a better look, that's where I am right now. 3. And then I'm going to continue down around the side of the ear, single crocheting in the next available space that I can find. And then I'm going to stop about here, where you can see the ear kind of meets the head right here. I'm going to, instead of putting a single crochet in that space right there, I'm actually going to put a slip stitch. So a slip stitch, here I'll start it over. Slip stitch, remember you insert your hook into the space and you pull through a loop, but then you actually just take that loop you just pulled through and just pull it directly under your initial loop. And then I'm going to keep single crocheting, putting single crochets around. And you can always stop anytime and look at it, because sometimes I have to either take out some stitches around the outside or put in extra stitches depending on how it's looking, because sometimes it'll change the shape if you put too many in or put too few in. But so far I'm okay with this. It's okay. But see how the slip stitch kind of accentuates that point where the ear meets the head. And I'm about to do another slip stitch where the head meets the body, which is about here, I'm going to say. Well, probably more like there. Yeah, I'll probably just put one right here. So I'm going to, remember, just pull through a loop and then just pull that loop right under that guy. My yarn kind of split. Here, I'm going to actually do that one more time because my yarn kind of split right there. Come back. So I'm going to put it right here in this, and I'm just going to pull it through and then pull it under that loop. So there's my slip stitch. And then I'm going to keep going with my single crochets around the outside of the bunny. And then I'm going to check it in a minute just to make sure I still like the way the shaping is coming out. Yeah, I think that's fine. gonna keep going around. And then actually when I get to the very bottom, remember we started with 3 chains when we started this pattern, or I'm sorry, 4 chains but 3 stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet in that first chain at the corner, and then I'm actually going to skip, and it's up to you, I mean you don't have to, but I'm going to skip that middle chain and I'm just going to go to the 3rd chain here, because when I did it in all 3, I feel like it gave it more of a pointy bottom. And I feel like it looked more rounder when I just skipped that middle stitch and went into that last chain. But it's totally up to you. Again, you can try different methods of getting it to look rounder at the bottom. And then I'll just keep single crocheting around. And then again, you can always stop and check to see the progress of what it looks like. Make sure you like how the edging looks. I think it's fine, so I'll keep going. And then I'm going to stop about here, and I'm going to go ahead and put my slip stitch in, I'm going to say about here. So again, where the head meets the body is where you're going to want to put a slip stitch. So again, you just insert your hook into the space you want, pull through a loop, and then take that loop all the way through, and then keep going with single crochets. And then I'll stop in a second and check it just to make sure it looks even on both sides. And then keep going, and actually I'm almost to the point where I need another slip stitch at the ear. I always have to like give these a second look, because sometimes I'm either too early or too late with them. So I think I'm going to put my slip stitch like right here, just to make sure that ear looks good. And keep going. I'm going to check that too with the single crochets. Alright, I'm going to stop for a second. And yeah, I think that looks okay. So I put a slip stitch right about here, just where the ear meets the outside of the outside of the ear meets the outside of the head. And then I'm almost back to where I started. I think I had 3 stitches up here. So 1, 2, we have 3 stitches in that last row of the ear. 3, and then once I reach back to where I started on the ear, I'm just going to put a slip stitch in the next stitch, and then I actually just did another slip stitch in the stitch after that too. I just like the way it looks better with 2 slip stitches. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually fasten that off. So I get my scissors. Oops. And so now we have the actual, like the main body of the bunny complete. So we have to add the little face on, the eyes and the nose, and I will do that next. Okay, so now on to the eyes and nose, and I did mine in a dark brown, I think it's called Coffee, I think, Red Heart Super Saver, but again, just worsted weight, dark brown yarn. And so all you do is, after I make my slip knot, you're just going to chain 1, because I found that's the best size. So just chain 1, and then you're going to fasten off. So I'm going to get my scissors. Oh, and I forgot to mention, leave a long tail at the beginning of your slip knot too, because that'll help when attaching it to the face. So then I'm going to pull that through. So I really just chained 1 and then fastened off here. If you're using a larger hook to make a larger bunny, you might want to chain 2 and then fasten off, just to give it larger eyes and nose in proportion to the body. So then what I did, and this is the reason for leaving that longer tail too, was I went ahead and I actually tied the 2 tails together to make it a slightly larger knot. Like that. And so that's how you make one of the eyes or the nose. They're all done the same way. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to make 2 more just like that real quick. Again, I'm going to leave a long tail on my original slip knot at the beginning of my slip knot. Chain 1, fasten off. Kind of pull it tight there. And then the last one, again, leave a long tail at the beginning. Chain 1, fasten off. Pull through. Get a little tighter there, and then tie the 2 tails together. Okay, so now I have my 3 pieces, my 2 eyes and the nose. So I'm going to get my tapestry needle, and I'm going to, first I'm going to put the nose on because I think that's easier, because you just center it in between the 2 ears. I just try to line it up with the center. And I'm not the greatest at this. So sometimes it takes me a couple tries to get it perfect, but I'm going to use both of these tails actually to go through the back, so that way when I get it there I can tie them together just for extra security to hold it on. So I'm going to say about here, and then I'm going to take my needle off of that, and I'm going to put this tail on my needle, and I'm going to send this through maybe about here. I'm sure most of you are like way better at this than I am, but there, I think I got it okay on the first try. So there's the nose, and then I'm not actually going to knot it in the back or weave it in yet, because I want to get my eyes on and just make sure I'm satisfied before I secure that one. So I'll get my eye. And then, I don't know, maybe like there, about here maybe would be good. You just have to position it where you think it would look right. And then I'll just send my needle down. And then do the same thing with the other tail. I think that looks okay. And then I'll do my last eye. Try to line it up with that other eye so it's evenly spaced away from the nose. Like there. And the second tail, send that through. Probably want it up here maybe. And then I'll just send my needle down. 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 And then I'll just send my needle Okay. And then once you're satisfied with those, then you can go ahead and turn it over on the back. As you can see, I have a mess back here because I never tucked in any of my tails or anything. But what I did with each of these, this is the reason why I kept the 2 tails on it, just to make it easier for me because I'm not the greatest sewer. Then I just knotted them. Because again, I was changing mine into a magnet, so you're not really going to see the back on my project. I just attached a magnet to the back. So I kind of just did that, and then I would just take my tapestry needle and kind of just weave it in as you can. And back through. And just, you know, do it until you feel like it's secure enough for whatever you use it for. I'm not going to be the neatest about this because, like I said, for my project, you're not even going to deal with the back because I'm just putting a magnet on it for my greeting card. But then I pretty much did that for each of these 3 pieces. Here's the nose. So I'm going to go ahead and tie these, the 2 nose tails together. And I'm sure you have your own way of securing yarn in the back, so you can do whatever is comfortable for you, however you like to do it. And then, like I said, I'm just going to take these tails and weave them in until they're kind of like secure in the back, and then same with all the rest of my tails. But once you weave them all in, you should have a cute bunny left. Alright, so I went ahead and I cleaned him up, and so here's what the finished bunny looks like. I think he's really cute. And like I said, what I did with mine, I changed it to, or well, I haven't done it with this one yet, but what I plan to do with this one is change it to a magnet. So I'm just going to put, all I have in my house right now is the strip magnets, like the magnets that come in the rolls. So I'm just going to cut a strip and put it on the back and change him to a magnet. And then I'm going to place him on one of my cards. I offer the printable at thecrafterlife.com for the card. So what I did to make the card after I changed him to a magnet, I punched 2 holes in the front and then put ribbon through to attach him on, so that way whoever gets the card can just untie the ribbon and then take the magnet off to use. But it says missing my peeps because this Easter, due to the current situation, I'm not going to get to see the people I normally see on Easter. And then the inside just says, Happy Easter, we will miss seeing you this year. So if you're interested in making that card, the printable is also found on thecrafterlife.com. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you.